seconds remaining.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the MDL European region coverage, the qualifying action that is for a major tournament. We are now on our 4th day of coverage, and we are advancing on pretty far here in the event, to say the least. We got our second quarterfinal matchup now taking place. The winner of this advancing on to the semifinals, where then our 2 semifinals will happen on later today. So we have 3 best of 3 is going to be coming at you, and we are kicking it off with a great one at that. We got OG taking on Double Dimension here in this best of 3. So game number 1 kicking off. I'm BreakyCPK, going to be your host once again, and today going to be joined by a different co-caster. Going to be joined by Rime. Rime, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. Oh, it's the Frosty Man. Hi. So we're watching the post-resolution OG. Well, we were watching it before, but now it's formalized.
Yeah,
so.
we didn't talk about that for a second, because just to clarify, so yeah, you are right. Obviously, earlier on in this event, Mad was already stepping in as, you know, he's always been kind of a stand-up player for the team. Obviously, he's their coach after all. He's been their 6th man. So we just kind of figured, you know, it was a case of, oh, Resolution's vacation, or he was supposed to play in WSG, but it didn't happen. So maybe there was some confusion there, whatever. We just assumed that was the case, right? And all of a sudden today came, and literally less than an hour ago, the official news came out that Resolution is no longer part of OG. It does sound like it was somewhat of a mutual agreement, but just because of the lack of great results for the team, they decided to part ways. So as of now, Matt is actually their 5th player and playing in that mid role. So that's just a quick update there as you're getting at. But I'm still trying to process it and take it in. But, man, that's some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what could have caused it. Also, things seem mutual, but I'm not going to say it isn't mutual or anything, but like pretty much everything that happens in esports, like everyone just goes, well, we both agreed on this, even if one party didn't quite agree to it the same way as the other did. But
absolutely, and you know, obviously coming off the news of yesterday, especially dear to my heart, being a Complexity fanboy after all, and knowing those guys for so long, you got Kyle announce that he's no longer a part of Complexity. So really, there's within the last 24 hours, it's been very, very interesting, especially now with this news. But all right, enough about that. That's for another time. We got a match here to talk about. We got the Ancient Apparition picked up, as you mentioned. We have a Tusk Brewmaster response. We have a Sand King then coming out. So that's the draft so far. What do you think here, Ryan?
OG's
well, I'm thinking Tusk, pretty much, he's one of the most safe 4 positions he can go for. He can save people. He's very, very good at ganking mid. He scales quite well into mid to late game as well, but he's just generally nice to have. Panda is going to be on definitely no tail or S4, probably S4. And on the other side, you got SK and AA. That SK could be 3 position or 4 position. You don't know. Benefit picking Sanking in the first 2, and AA is just whenever you have a gank, you have damage. You can scout rows. You can use ulti for almost anything. So generally, both teams keeping options open.
Yeah, AA has been kind of interesting as of late. I feel like you know, obviously watching a bit and casting this event specifically. Ancient Apparition feels like he's, I don't want to say a niche support hero, but he's kind of on that next tier maybe. You got like Rubik, Disruptor, Witch Doctor right now, but then Ancient Apparition does make his appearances here and there, and Double Dimension, you know, taking advantage of that. But when we do see, mostly, you know, paired up with the Sand King, obviously it's some great synergy idea there. So, but definitely a strong hero in his own right. As you mentioned, that Ice Blast presence is something you always got to look out for on the other side. So, bans to follow?
Yep. We have Bane and Tiny being banned out, so generally want to secure their laning phase on DD. And the Disruptor picked up. As you mentioned, one of the safer supports, one of the more common ones. You'll be seeing like Kingwin picking him up first pick almost every single game. I think it really takes a kind of person to be a captain of a team and go, I'm going to pick myself Disruptor first pick every single game. And it's just, I'm going to be happy doing that. I'm not going to get any farm. I'm not going to enjoy myself, but we're going to do fine.
Yeah.
And Kingwin qualified through to this round, I think so.
Well, they're in the semifinals. Yeah, they actually play. The winner of this plays Kingwin. Funny enough, so
okay.
That's good. Good that you brought that up right there. But whoa, we got to talk about that for a second. Leshrac coming out for.
Oh, this is Excalibur hero for sure.
Okay.
They must be expecting like a Terrorblade or a PL to be coming out at least.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't think you'd have any reason to pick Leshrac if there wasn't something to be heavily countered by Leshrac. But there's nothing so far. Like Leshrac's. He's okay against their heroes. Like, he doesn't really have any specific interaction with like Brew or Tusk. He's not amazing against any of them.
But he does work well with the Sand King, and you've also got the Spell Amp from AA, so you can kind of burst people quite quickly.
We did. I was looking back because I was like, we did actually have a Leshrac in the group stages, and sure enough, it was actually OG. They ran it against Moriarty there in their rematch against them, and that was a complete stomp of a game. It ended up being a Leshrac versus a Zeus middle, as funny as it is. But they won. Not only he only won that matchup, but obviously he led the team to victory. That was S4 Planet, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, interesting seeing here for Double Dimension. Again, not an everyday hero by any means. So, yeah, again, where exactly he has a diversity of being played in multiple roles, and Visage also kind of one of those heroes, as OG is going to snatch up the Visage now.
Yeah, picking Visage is all right. So we now know that it's going to be No-Tail Visage, it's going to be S4 playing Panda, and they're going to be last picking Mad's hero. I'm pretty sure. Because I played against the last Visage I played against in the pub was in fact No-Tail, and he was playing it middle, so he's been playing that quite a bit now. So I think now that Rezo's gone, they're getting used to playing No-Tail in more of a farmy kind of role.
We have seen a little bit of Visage as well this event too, and mainly Band actually. So it's it is pretty rare that he is left open all the way to this point, and so OG, yeah, going to be picking up, like you said, No-Tail most likely the one to play. Whether it's mid, whether it's safe lane, I'm sure that's going to come down to matchup specific here, and what makes the most sense. But if it's, say, a Leshrac mid, is there any reason why a Visage couldn't be mid? Is that a poor matchup for some reason, or is that good?
It's a completely fine matchup. In fact, it's pretty good for Visage because there's no point, like, Leshrac doesn't have any way to kill the birds. His damage is fairly low. He starts off with 52, I think it is, and Visage starts with, like, in the high 50s.
Okay.
So Visage basically outlasts him the entire time. And Leshrac has no real way to, like, pressure Visage out of the lane. So... And then when Visage hits 6, like, it doesn't matter. Leshrac tries to get close to the ulti because that's his, like, standard thing. You know, he goes in for the stun, he ults you down and that kind of thing. And Visage is like, well, I've just got birds and I hit you really, really hard, so you can't do anything. So that lane kind of stagnates about level 5.
OG's turn to ban.
And Terrorblade picked up. All right. So they pick Leshrac, and then that can discourage a Terrorblade from OG, so then OG don't pick it, so then they can force pick the Terrorblade themselves. Maybe that's something that's going on there. You don't know.
Terrorblade, obviously a comfortable hero for No-Tail, but, you know, they already have the Visage as mentioned. He'll probably play that, so, but yeah, good point with the whole Leshrac idea, and taking it for themselves now, so. Miss Moon, by the way, or Mice Moon, or I just call him Moon, over there on Double Dimension, he is standing in for Mag. He was the other day as well, so again, after what happened with Resolution, and I mean, I don't want to speculate, but maybe there's something there. I don't know. Who knows right now? The rosters right now in Dota 2 seem very flimsy with what's been happening these last 24 hours. But anyways, final picks to come.
Tinker last ban. Yeah, that's to be expected. If you have a Terrorblade, you want to ban out Tinker because Tinker is the strongest Ganator Terrorblade in the entire game. I think that was last shown in like EG versus VP or something where no one went like 800 GPM, 0 death Tinker versus Terrorblade. Gonna put on a clinic. Admittedly, not everyone is no one, but I'm sure Tinker is still something to be worried about. And the last ban Tide from OG because none of their heroes can realistically do very much against Tide. They don't have the burst damage, they don't have like any Silver Edge carriers or anything like that.
Yeah.
So Tide would be guaranteed to get a lot of farm if he was picked. Now DD, they have a last pick, but they have 2 very farmy cores already, assuming that Leshrac is in fact a core. So they'll probably want to be picking something that can be
Underlord,
not getting that much. Underlord, he's okay-ish. He'll survive, but it's hard to really guarantee him farm because he's a very greedy offlaner.
Turn to pick.
Darkseer, okay. We haven't seen that for a long time.
No,
but you got some combos: vacuum stun, vacuum another stun.
True.
Vacuum reflection. No, that's not really a combo, but it can be.
It's something. It'll do something at least. It's not you're not looking for that necessarily, but yeah, Darkseer though. You mentioned, I mean, the vacuum is a great setup tool for really every hero here. It's well, at least 3 of the 4, the Leshrac, Sand King, and Ancient Apparition. So, in that perspective, it makes sense. But yeah, we do not see a lot of Darkseer, and I feel like it's one because his overall his ultimate's maybe a little bit underwhelming, and is his laning phase not necessarily as strong anymore. I mean, he constantly gets nerfs, patches over time. So, why do you think we don't see him?
We don't see him because Darkseer is typically strongest when the off lane has been kind of left in a 1v1. He was strong when people could easily roam in with Iron Shell. Like, you'd be seeing like people picking like Darkseer Night Stalker first 2, Darkseer Bounty Hunter first 2, and then they would be abusing this Iron Shell. But it's so easy to keep control of your own safe lane now that like just sending 2 heroes up there with Iron Shell doesn't really change things that much. He's not guaranteed to get a lot of laning phase. If Darkseer has a terrible laning phase, then he has a terrible game because that hero needs to snowball. He needs to get like early, I don't know, Helm with a Dom or like a Pipe or something like that and fight with the team.
Yeah.
And that's the last pick. Luna into Terrorblade. Okay.
Yeah.
So immediately this last pick, Luna to Terrorblade, means they need to end this game quickly because you don't want to be a Luna when the TB gets level 20. Like, that's the point where Luna's like, well, if I can't get away from the Terrorblade, then I'm just going to die.
Is it so the idea that you're going with is with like the reflection, right? And the creating the images there, and basically Luna helps kill herself almost.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like when you're playing Luna against Terrorblade, you pretty much need to go like Hurricane Pike to get away from him when he reflects, because otherwise you get slowed and mauled to death. And you need to... I've seen people, like, I've played FPL and I was playing against YJS playing Luna, and what he did against Terrorblade is he went like Hurricane Pike into Ags, and he didn't take the 10 stat talent, he took the beam damage. And his principle was, as long as the Terrorblade doesn't have BKB up, I'm just going to press my ulti on him and he'll die.
Okay.
Which I think was a valid way of doing it, but maybe that's not what they go for here.
Well, it's kind of funny that you talk about, because you know, when they finally picked Luna and then your following statement was they need to end the game early, that doesn't feel like that usually goes together, right? Luna's usually more known as I want to farm a little bit and maybe be that very scary mid to late game presence, especially. But as you mentioned with the matchup, I mean, they're almost kind of setting themselves up for that. So it is a curious option. I mean, is it almost like I don't want to call it a misdraft, but is it like are you questioning it a bit, or are you fine with it in the end?
I think I'm fine with it as long as they can make sure that TB doesn't really get off to an amazing start. And they have a Panda on the off lane, so Panda does pretty well versus Terrorblade. Doesn't really die and can shut down the farm quite a bit. Or fly, be careful.
Yeah, this is going to be a close call. They're smoking. I feel like Double Dimension's constantly doing this in these last couple of days. Smoking in S5 and trying to catch somebody, so might wrap around in the middle lane even, but going to be patient. But as of now, it doesn't look like they are going to catch anybody on OG's side. By the way, this is a rematch of sorts. They did meet up in the group stages in the best-of-1 place of the groups, and actually OG won that series, or won that game even, fairly decisively just a couple of days ago. So worth bringing that up as well. But no first blood. Instead, they're going to spread out. Look to head elsewhere.
Split up and look for clues among the different lanes, realizing this gank is not going to work. We're probably going to have the Sand King being sitting bottom for a while, benefit from that Iron Shell. Because honestly, Lunar Disruptor, it's a pretty strong lane, but compared to Iron Shell Sand King, like if they get caught out, they can just kind of die. Just looking at these lanes, OG, they should be fairly happy with this. All their lane matchups should go even, or at least, yeah, winning maybe.
Yeah. You got Visage matched up in the middle lane against the Leshrac. We were talking about that already, and how you actually like the Visage even in that lane potentially.
Oh, his block's a bit worse though. Given that Sand King's actually placed the ward here, he knows exactly when he can rotate into mid.
Sand King
does see the courier, but he's not going to be able to get that.
Excalibur just going to throw out that split earth, just casually. Could soften him up a little bit for the Sand King. And here we go. Milan's going to run in. Another split earth is going to be set up pretty easily here. It's a matter of how much auto attacks can they get in. I don't think it's going to be a kill, but it's just going to be plenty of damage. However, Milan's now in some trouble with Tusk being here. Even takes a tower hit on top of that. And Jarek's looking to run him down. Another shard in 10 more seconds. I don't think it's going to be in time, though. And Milan will walk away as well. But very close call. Almost got turned for the first blood. Expectingly.
Yeah, Visage does a lot of damage, and honestly, like, ganking mid now is so scary because the tower is just so close to the lane. Like, it's so easy to walk in tower and just tank some tower hits, and then suddenly your gank has gone horribly, horribly wrong. So Milan avoids that fate, but he salves up, he gets intervened with Jerax, and this mid lanes is kind of going to be stagnant for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and also that Grave Chill ability, it's especially even just the 1 point value that you get from it, that 32% move speed drain even. that happens. So the slow on top of the buff for himself. I mean, it's quite the turnaround potential. So you better make sure to stun lock him down and do as much damage as possible, or else he's not only going to be flying away, but perhaps running after you if you don't secure that kill. So can be difficult.
Very careful. It's pretty much like an all or nothing sometimes. You don't want to get forced into the situation where you have to man fight the Visage, because usually he wins.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
All right, so other lanes, you got the top lane, S4, sure enough, on that Brewmaster. He's going up against the Ancient Apparition. And, of course, Terra Blade up here. Right now, it does seem like Ditya Ra's having absolute free farm up at the top lane. And can't seem too surprised at that one. Jarex especially has been spending most of his time in the middle lane, of course, as we've seen. So, yeah, it seems like it's going to be a pretty open game for Terra Blade, at least early on at this point.
Yep, he's farming. Panda's farming decently. They're getting some nice pulls off, so Panda's farm is being tried a bit, but he's still sitting at level 3. Pretty much the exact same as the Darkseer, who's now being escorted to safety by Sankey. You can't really even see the Iron Shell on, but he's Iron Shelled alright.
That is actually, I guess his body's a little bit too big for that. Anyways, Darkseer is going to take the creep wave. Also takes that snowball to the face. Great shard block from Jarex as well. This could be the kill as a result. In fact, Milan's also going to glow on top of that. Darkseer realizing it's a lost cause. He runs the other direction as a distraction. They're still going after Milan, though. The snowball's going to connect. Jarex making some key plays to really set up both of those kills in response. 2-0 OG.
And they presented this like half HP Luna as like some gift for the Sand King to go in, and he was like, oh, do I go for the stun? And then they quickly realized, oh god, we're actually all just gonna die. So then they had to run away, and by then it was too late. So the Darkseer Sand King lane feeding away 2 kills, not exactly what you want. This lane is like, it pretty much has to go well the entire time, otherwise, like, you want to have like a level 4 Darkseer right now. You want to be above the Luna in levels. You want to be able to get that level 3 Iron Shell quite quickly, threaten more kills with the Sand King, but now Sand King's going to have to leave the lane, he's going to have to smoke mid. Maybe this works out.
Oh, Darkseer actually. Glyph is going to bring him right back in, so his Surge is now going to be on cooldown for 6 more seconds. This should be a kill. Yeah, and that's... Disruptor feels like he's pretty good against a hero like Darkseer, right? For the Glimpse alone, back the way back to the middle lane, yeah, Visage, he is going to go down though, so finally Double Dimension gets on the board, and that's a big kill at that at least. Taking out the mid.
Still, mid's like, even with that kill, mid is still completely even. I mean, if you look at the CS, Visage is ahead a bit. Like, this kill is nice, but it's not really anything amazing. But the Darkseer dying again, he's level 3, 4 minutes. The Luna's starting to get, like, very difficult to contest. They need to make sure this Darkseer has somewhere to go and some space to get, because if he's stuck in the situation where he can't really get very much, I don't know how they use him.
Oh, look at the Disruptor. He's coming in the flank. Now, as he does this, the Dire side, they're all sending 2 heroes over as well. You got Sand King and Ancient Apparition, so this could be a bit of a clash down here at the bottom lane. As Disruptor, though,
scout it out.
We'll scout it,
But
yeah.
Excalibur getting dive mid. He's going to live.
He'll live.
Has his boots in his backpack.
Leshrac, and I know I mentioned this the last time we saw Leshrac. He too is, although a different player in Excalibur Planet here, he's going the same build with that QE build, the Split Earth into the Lightning Storm. No Diabolic Edict. What do you think of that?
It's just too hard to get the Edict off. Because you think about it, by the time the Edict's actually going to be a useful level to do like damage, it's like level 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, like, you want to go for an Edict like kill when you have 6, you get the stun, you Edict, you press ulti, but then your Edict is just going to be shared among the birds anyway. And honestly, the Lightning is a better tool for laning in general.
Bottom lane, Jarex TPing in. They almost killed Luna initially, but they did not, and now the turn is happening. Milan's going to go down, snowball in once again. Jarex seems like he's such a key hero this game on that Tusk, because they say that he goes down going a little bit too deep, but he sets up the kill in Ancient Apparition, and now it's Darkseer versus the 2. That Iron Shell, you have to respect the damage. It is level 2, so Mad and Fly will back off. So it ends up being the 2-for-1 trade in favor of OG, though. So even though with the death, Jarex sees 2-1-2. Again, moving around from middle to bottom on this Tuskar and having high impact, to say the least.
He's just kind of everywhere. The thing about this, like, Iron Shell, double Iron Shell thing is, like, it's meant to be so much damage that there's no prospect of fighting against it. Also, no getting ran out of it.
Tower is under attack.
But it's meant to be so much damage that you can't battle. But, like, with the Luna tri-lane, they can just man fight it. because they just have so much damage from the Luna Blessing.
Oh no, Excalibur, you could tell they weren't on the same page right there. I mean, Sand King and the Leshrac. Leshrac gets glimpsed back into the Ice Shard block. He is going to end up going down. No-Tail's not only surviving, but Soul Assumption Nuke. Level 1, still plenty of damage on him. Milan, though, Burl Strike's done his more TP rotations. Dark's here with that Ion Shell doing plenty of damage. They're going to set up the Calm Visage as well. And now it's just Jarek's alive on the Radiant side. He's going to be vacuumed back in. A couple of auto attacks later, running at him with the Ion Shell. Great snowball, though, looking to return. And now a TP back in from Matt, actually rotating and hits the beam. The Splitter is going to miss, and down goes Darks here. We have some mid-wars action, apparently. Nearly every hero showing up here in the middle lane. Just plenty of back-and-forth chaos.
Have you ever wanted to kill a Tusk so much that you've skilled level 1 vacuum at 5? Like, that doesn't quite seem worth it, especially given... I don't know. But yeah, Visage unfortunately loses his bird, so his right to stay in the middle lane has been revoked. So he has to sit in the bot lane and wait for his burst to come back up, otherwise he just doesn't really feel like a hero.
See the Primal split at the top lane, by the way. Terribly with that Metamorphosis form. He's now having to play a little bit defensive. They're going to be lifted on up, perched back down. Terribly the stun hits from the Rocket. No, the Sunder on his teammate. Well played right there from Didiera. Is going to stay alive in the long run, but Excalibur goes down in the middle lane meanwhile. To guess what? You have Luna, Tusk, and Disruptor all showing up back to the middle lane. You mentioned Visage at the bottom for the time being, so nice save on himself from Terrorblade, but yep, Leshrac going down for the second time now.
Oh, Panda didn't die, which is good for him. Oh, his bounty and just gets taken by Milan. He's not too happy about that one.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
So the thing about this Luna is she can move around, she can use Lucent Beam and ganks, she provides a lot of damage with Luna Blessing in fights, and she also has ulti, whereas Terrorblade is just kind of stuck in his top lane. Just lets OG make a lot more moves. Speaking of moves...
Yeah, this Glimpse is owning Darkseer. That's what I was going to mention earlier, and it's just as we're seeing constantly that the Glimpse is so good against it, because usually with that Surge, it allows him to get away, obviously, in most cases, and be fine, but Glimpse is one of those abilities that's like, nope, you ain't going nowhere. Pulls him right back in, so he is...
I'm really surprised they last picked it into the Disruptor. Like, they really wanted to pressure this Luna. Didn't quite work out that way, though.
It did not, but overall the net worth is, it's only 1,000 net worth lead right now for OG, and then a lot of that has to do with Terrorblade's success at that top lane. But you do see OG starting to come together now, and this is where the objective gaming is going to start kicking in. You have Visage with that headdress well on his way to the Helm of the Dominator. You have Mad, he's looking to build a Dragonlance, actually, with his first item, as the Familiars double stun on the Sand King. There's that Soul Assumption, plenty of nuke, but not enough for the kill. So, but yeah, you were talking about the Hurricane Pike on Luna, and it looks like that's exactly what she's going for.
Yeah, she's just going to go for that first item, probably. And then you definitely just have to buy BKB against Darkseer and Leshrac and all that stuff. I'm just thinking this game, it's like, you look at the Sand King, he's level 4, AA also level 4, supports on OG 6, almost halfway to 7 on Disruptor, and Tusk is level 5. He's actually smoking with Luna, with Eclipse, looking for a kill there. The OG just fight so much, and their safe lane, tri lane was so successful that their supports are completely eclipsing the levels of the other team. Yeah, like Excalibur gets a 2-man stun.
Oh, yeah, they do find him in the end in that middle lane. He hit the 2-man stun as mentioned, but it was just too much to deal with by himself. So I saw them hunting. I didn't think they were going to actually run into him, but sure enough they do. And they find a kill on him yet again. So the Leshrac pick is, he's starting to struggle quite a bit. He's down there in the middle of the pack on the net worth. And you see what he's working. I mean, he's trying to get that Bloodstone, but he doesn't even have any of the components really yet for it. So it's going to be a while before that Bloodstone comes online.
Yeah, this Leshrac is not having a great start. He's sitting 3k net worth, 10 minutes. He's behind the Visage. And I think, honestly, at this point, like, Leshrac is... He was also picked on TFI because he farmed so ridiculously fast and he got his items up so quickly. And he had such good matchups that he was just dominant hero. But now, getting Leshrac the farm he needs is really difficult because he needs so much space. And the fact that he didn't do well in his lane and the ganks didn't really work out means that getting that space is so much more difficult. Because you have to invest so much time on these supports to actually help him.
Speaking of that,
stun, but...
yeah, that might kill Disruptor right here at least. I say might. Fly. Lightning Storm? Yes, okay. Caustic will finish the job. So, or I guess J4 got credit technically with the Ancient Apparition. Anyways, So they kill him, but you look at the top lane meanwhile. Top tower specifically, taking some good damage. And, oh, that's big. If he has an Eclipse, actually, but no, he's going to run away with the drums. Not finding a chance to use it. Yeah, close call right there. How about that, by the way? Drums picked up on Terrorblade earlier on here. Expecting a lot of fighting.
I think it's when you want to be more active. Also, it gives you mana regen and stuff, but it's generally seen as like an alternative to the Dragon Lance build.
J4 runs into a bit of chaos here right here himself. Thunderstrike should help to finish him off. Meanwhile, Jarex, he snowballs in and it connects onto Milan. Looking to secure the kill onto him with Luna over here. Primal Split activated. Rod, great shard block onto the Terrorblade right there. He's going to be lifted up by Brewmaster, trying to buy some time for everyone else to get over here. Matt included on that Luna. Out comes the beam. Terrorblade's going to fall. Jarex is a Tuskar god. I mean, that goes without saying. He just does it time and time again. Darkseer's also going to fall. Double kill for S4. And now we see OG really kicking it in high gear here in game number 1.
Yeah, they're just taking fights with this Panda. They have the Blink and they have Lunar ulti, which they haven't actually used up until this point. They managed to get all of those fights beforehand without using the Eclipse. So yeah, they're really just taking the fight. And Terrorblade, he didn't have time to use meta. He didn't really have time to do anything.
Yeah.
They can't really do that much at this point. And Excalibur misses the stun on Fly. He'll have to just walk away in shame.
Oh, S4 going back in. Now that might cost him his life. They set up the kill on Ancient Apparition though, and Mad, not much mana to work with, is not really deciding to stick around much longer. Notel doing his best to run. We see that Grave Chill kicking in, so the speed is resolved with the Static Storm and trying to help things out. They do kill Notel though. Jarex now running as the shard block on a Darkseer. Thunder comes out on a Mad. Mad nearly dying because of that, but he backs off before. And so retreat time for OG. They do lose a couple though, Visage and the Brewmaster. So a little bit of fight from Double Dimension. That actually works out all right for them. Especially with the Terrorblade. They need to be
really careful on OG. Handing kills to this Terrorblade is something you really can't afford to be doing. Because Terrorblade is the kind of hero where, especially the matchups in this game, he will win the game. Like, he will just straight up murder you when he hits like level 20 when he starts getting really far ahead. So giving him anything is difficult to deal with. So OG need to be careful about that kind of stuff because it feels fine. It goes like, okay guys, we got some objectives, we killed some heroes, or we only lost 1 or 2 heroes there, it's not so bad, we can still farm. But it's like, you give away so much. So.
Look at Luna, by the way. How about this? Yeah, you were talking about the potential, like, could be something. And, well, he's...
Honestly, I think it is the way to go. They have the physical damage, they have Panda for some teamfight presence as well, they have ability to hit buildings. Like, they don't need Luna to do, like, the typical Luna thing. She just needs to win teamfights for them. Yeah. And Aghanims is usually able to do that. Plus, you just really can't play the normal Luna against Terrorblade. It's so cool.
So that means the illusions themselves also aren't going to be as strong against herself. So yeah, it is an interesting idea, and it really does make sense. As you know, this does take me back though to it was what the Boston Major, I want to say, where we did see the whole Luna Ags build in a couple of the games, and I believe from OG actually, if I'm not mistaken. And just remember, for whatever reason, that's kind of just I'm having flashbacks to that moment, but. Definitely a setup here that could work pretty well. So the idea though too is, just to be clear, you want to put the Eclipse on Terrorblade most likely himself, or
you just want to make sure. Well, you just use it for whatever benefits you the most in the team fight, but that will usually be just obliterating the Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Because if you play a Luna normally and you do the normal build, you get your Butterfly, you get your Manta style, you eventually just become a liability in team fights because you just kill yourself so quickly on the reflection. So having your most farmed hero turn into a liability in a team fight late game is just not something you want to deal with. So they just want to keep this power curve going. So Luna's been strong in the early game, and with this Axe, she'll continue to be just as useful, if not more useful, into the mid to late game.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was back when Shadow Demon, I believe it was, the support, you know, obviously was very popular too in that combination. So I think it might have been on the other side. So the same ideas you're getting at as far as the liability goes. Roshan, they're going for it, but Double Dimension.
Waiting to break the smoke.
Oh yeah, they're going to break it. Will they be able to react in time? There we go. J4 is exposed, and here comes the reaction. Shard block, at least pathing a little bit Trying to zone them out as much as possible. S4 goes in with a Primus, but Leshrac in no man's land. He's going to get caught out. He'll end up dying. Also, the Static Storm locking down Milan. He finally gets the Pearl Strike off at the last second, but he's definitely going to be dying shortly himself. Darkseer, he's trying to retreat. Terrorblade in the back lines. He didn't even use Metamorphosis. That's how horrible this initiation went for Double Dimension. By the time it really started, he realized it was a lost cause, and it's a 4-for-0 in favor of OG. That break into smoke as they did, and you could tell Double Dimension was a little scattered there. What to do.
Jerax almost killed Fly, didn't notice he had the Iron on. Okay, yeah, the positioning there was just completely perfect. Milan tried to catch out the Disruptor, but he caught him to what about S4 managed to get the perfect clap off in the middle of everyone and the ulti. And Jerax was just sitting there. He didn't even need to do anything, all he needed to do was just see them. It's just playing Sanking at this point without a Blink Dagger at 17 minutes is just, it's nightmare inducing. He's sitting at bottom of the net worth as a 4 position. Not where you want to be.
Yeah, that is rough. That is rough right there. And whew, wow, that I've been having fun with this. I know it doesn't tell everything, and it's like a silly stat, but it's still fun to reference here. Thanks to Dota Plus, I got my win probability as far as the graph goes, and right now it's a 93% in favor of OG. And that seems a little high because it is a Terrorblade after all on the other side, but at the same time, it's understandable why Lord Gaben is deciding that OG is in a very, very good spot here.
Yeah, I don't know how it calculates that. It's probably just like the net worth differential combined with like some XP stuff and then the matchups a bit based on win rates against each other and things like that.
I believe it is that because, yeah, as I've mentioned before, and I kind of want to make a habit of it where after the draft is finished, if you do it right as the game starts, it actually will favor a team. And I'm pretty sure that's because of, like you said, the win matchups as far as which heroes are picked and everything.
Yeah, because Dota Plus uses all like the hero win rate data, which basically means like when it starts the game off, it will just tell you to pick Zeus, Underlord, Wraith King, and stuff like that, because those are the heroes that just have the highest win rates. They have like 60% win rate overall because
makes sense.
They're easy to play and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't usually actually give you the right picks in high-level games.
Tournament environment, I think, is a little bit different when it comes down to it. So Mad, though, he's got the axe finished. It's just a matter of actually delivering to him. It's on the courier being sent out. You have the Alpha Wolf taken over from No-Tail with that helm of the Dominator.
Yeah, just gonna go.
Why not?
Let's see what happens.
He's got the Aegis.
They have level 3 Vacuum, no Darkseer ulti, they have Mech, they have no real items on Leshrac. Terrorblade is the only one with any farm. Hasn't even completed his BKB yet, which he's going for his second item. Ranking has his blink though.
They do have a creep wave also pushing bottom lane a little bit. They're actually pushing tier 3 with a creep wave, so OG has to keep that in mind somewhat. Mad, by the way, at Half-Life Reflection comes out comes the episode from Milan. He missed the Pearl Strike initially, but the Vacuum pull in. They will get the Aegis used on top of that. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast going through. Darkseer's getting low. The mech pop though, but here we go. Luna's back up. She still has the Eclipse. Hasn't used it yet. Lift on a Terrorblade, by the way. In the back line's Tuskar. He's trying to trap out everyone. It's Brewmaster with that Primal Split as well. Lunas finally uses the Eclipse. Bounce around. She goes down, and Dinyarra will survive the Sun Run and no till the last second. Dinyarra is going to be good for the time being. It looks like OG overcommitted somewhat, but no, it's not enough as Dinyarra ends up falling, caught in no man's land himself while a supporting cast was busy dealing with the Brewmaster, which they do, but Excalibur is going to come at a cost. He ends up going down. J4 is also going to get picked off when it's all said and done, and down goes to tier 3. So buyback on Leshrac, and they're resurrecting, but ultimately OG wins the fight. But man, that was a bit closer than maybe expected.
Yeah, that was odd. Like, Luna didn't get the Eclipse off because right as the animation was about to happen, she got hit by the Cold Feet. I don't know if she didn't notice it or something, but
okay.
Yeah, that was odd. And then Terrorblade was like, well, if there's a stun Luna right in front of me, I guess I'll just take that.
Yeah.
And then he might have got a bit overzealous and walked into the enemy team and then died as a result, but he's getting a bit closer to his BKB, and they have some breathing room now. Admittedly, the goal difference hasn't really changed much, but they have time.
Yeah, it's just over 10,000 net worth lead right now, but again, when you have a Terrorblade on your side, and like you said, they have time. If they can keep this game going, I'm not going to say it's going to lead to their favor necessarily, but it'll definitely give them a better chance because they weren't going to win early game with Double Dimension. That's more on OG side. Keep it going, and you give yourself the chance to then take over in the late game with heroes like Terrorblade. And you got to respect Leshrac as well. Leshrac could definitely start scaling himself when it comes to what he puts out.
He starts becoming very, very dangerous, but he's sitting at 6k net worth. He's behind the Tusk at this point.
True.
Especially with that buyback to defend the Brax, he's not really having a very fun game.
Very true.
He just hasn't been put in a position where he's able to succeed because like Leshrac is a hero that really likes to move around with, especially a Sand King. You want to be able to make moves together, but the Sand King's game was completely ruined from his early adventures in mid and bot lane.
He does have his blink though, on Sand King.
He does have his blink now. Yeah. During their initial defense, he blinked in with Epicenter. He stunned no heroes and hit the creep wave. And then J4 immediately tried to follow up with his ulti on that. And then his ulti went right through the middle of the team fight, missed everyone, and the explosion didn't hit anybody. So I think they can probably execute the next fight a little bit better on the side of Double Dimension, but...
Yeah, knowing how well that hold went, despite that, because I saw that happen, and I didn't point it out, but I think I'm kind of glad you did, because it was a little comical, honestly. But it's in the heat of the moment, plays like that can happen, of course. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the positive, exactly. It's like, well, we still kind of did okay in that fight. So if they connect that whole Epicenter Ice Blast combination, then who knows what can happen, right? So.
I mean, it's like, Visage is a tanky hero, right? He's got Pipe, he's got Solar Crest, all that kind of stuff. But if he gets hit by Leshrac spells or Terrorblade and the Epicenter AA Blast, he will just die. Like, he will just disappear. The Luna are also extremely fragile. To push high ground, they do need the Aegis, because they don't really have, like... They have Snowball save, but it's kind of hard to get off every single time perfectly, you know? And if they don't Snowball save the person that gets hit by that FE Ice Blast, they are dead out.
Yeah. Visage, by the way, he ends up going to Pipe here as far as his next build, and now he's clicking into an AC on top of that. But prioritizing the Pipe against this dire side, it does make sense, though, right? This is a pretty magic damage-heavy team coming out here.
Protects you from everything but the Terrorblade.
Yeah.
And for the Terrorblade, he's got that Solar Crest working towards the AC as well. The thing about this kind of lineup dealing with Terrorblade is you just have to survive the Metamorphosis right clicks long enough to get out of range, and once you're out of range, they really don't have that much to make sure he can kill you. Like, this Terrorblade will not be able to chase away from his own high ground, provided that all of OG aren't dead. You know, even with the BKB, like, it's still scary to leave your base. And that's how Double Dimension want to fight. They will try and avoid fighting anywhere other than their own high ground.
Well, key moment.
Items like Ace Solar Crest, you can just stay alive.
That's the idea, at least, but, key moment on the other side. The Bloodstone, again, finished on Leshrac now, so it has those 14 charges, and we'll see if it goes up or down from here, but they're going to trade Tier 1 towers, meanwhile. And as long as they're trading towers like that, I feel like Double Dimension can be overall fairly happy with the outcome. The base is a different story, though. That they need to defend, of course, once it gets to that.
Yeah,
so
trading your base for a Tier 2 or Tier 3 is not really what you want to be doing, but they want to get this tower and maybe get Terrorblade towards his Manta style, because he should be very close to that.
Tuskar just busy killing couriers, though, in the meantime, and...
God, he's fun.
Yeah, Lotus Orb. Like, all of a sudden, on Tusk.
And Blink as well now, so they have that Blink Snowball save, which is really, really important. Can't really overstress that enough.
Bottom shrine is under attack.
An item that is really good against Terrorblade as well is that, and we don't see a lot, but is that Crimson Guard. So I wonder if OG is going to look to potentially pick that up maybe on S4, who, by the way, just finished his Radiance on the Brewmaster.
I don't think they're going to be going for a Crimson Guard, simply because they don't really have any hero that naturally builds it. Also, Excalibur's going to be caught immediately.
Well, there's that Bloodstone we were just talking about, but he's going to survive at the time being. Get some response to the upset of the Shrine. Papa's not going to keep him alive, but will this work out in the end for the Dire team? The Eclipse bouncing around from Mad. There's so many heroes, though, doing it. Spread damage across the board. Diddy Ra, he stayed alive. He has a Sunder still throughout all this. BKB is wearing off, however. He's trying to beat down this Brewmaster with a Primal Split, but the Earth Brew Link, 4 seconds left before it comes back together. Looking to finish off Sankey, but now that support is here for OG. All they've lost was Disruptor. Diddy Ra, all of a sudden, he finds himself by himself, and he's going to be gone on by Jerax, caught up too, and he will end up falling. He has a buyback, but oh boy, that looks against potential there for Double Dimension and maybe turn with the Leshrac bait, but wasn't to be.
In the words of Fly, nice.
Nice.
Terrorblade is dead, his BKB is used, his Metamorphosis is down, Leshrac's Bloodstone is down to 9 charges as well. They used Eclipse, they used everything, but as a result, they won the team fight, and now they're in position to siege the Tier 3. Although, they probably won't commit too hard. Still a bit scared.
You mentioned...
This burst just taking no damage.
Yeah, the Familiars are ridiculous, man. They're doing some decent damage to the tower. They're going to ultimately go under, and recuperate here as Darkseer is gone on. He has that wall. We'll just put it down and hope for the best, and the best is not really looking too good, unfortunately. Excalibur is also going to get picked up. He's slowing down this whole time with that ultimate of the Pulse Nova active, but it doesn't matter. You see Terrorblade just resurrecting, but of course the damage is already done with the tier 3 tower going down again. They're going for the racks, but did they stick around too long? He doesn't have the Metamorphosis form, though, so Terrorblade not as scary. Pops the PKB, however, just starts running at people. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, trying to block the best they can. They do lose off to the side. Sankey with a dieback. J4 still alive. No, they're going to run after him, and he too will go down. Ultra kill for No-Tail, apparently. He wants the rampage. Will they be able to set this up? The Purge back down on a Terrorblade. Maybe a little bit too tanky and hugging those tier 4 towers. They're not going to get him, but they do get the melee racks as Luna got very low. Actually, the reflection almost kills him, and it will finish the job as Excalibur cuts him off, actually. And they do take out Luna. So, again, Double Dimension, a little bit of fight at the end. And they will, if anything, continue this game longer, but apparently Tusk isn't done just yet. He still wants to go. Sunder? And well, he does die. The Sunder animation wasn't being activated, but he couldn't get it off in time. Level 21, you're so right. This GRX is, I mean, we've said it so many times. Nice vacuum, by the way. That was a huge vacuum, but better response. Go figure. Oh boy. I do not mind seeing Jerax play this hero.
Yeah, he's really made it work. Every single movement he's made has really worked out. His ganks mid, his rotations to bottom. Like, ever since this lane from Double Dimension failed, the Darkseer Sanking, I don't think they've really been able to get back into it. Like, they've had glimmers of hope with terribly getting some kills in mid lane, things like that, but I think it's just the early support level difference that's made it so that these repeated fights from OG is just so easy for them, you know?
Yeah. And this graph really suggests how steady of a rise it's been for OG. This is just a comfortable, they've been steadily progressing throughout this game. We're up to 20,000 net worth lead now. The win percentage chance is now 99%, and it's basically been the 90 plus for a good chunk of this game, it's safe to say. So, yeah, it's they're going to go for the second Roshan just to help them try to maybe secure, eventually pushing into the base and finishing the job.
They are almost ready to go. I don't know if they're waiting for anything. They have the BKB on Panda. They have the, well, they have the pretty much everything. They have the AC. They have 4 stuff on Disruptor. They've got Blink Lotus already on Tusk. So any initiation Double Dimension is going to be very difficult indeed.
Terrorblade, he has a Blink Dagger queued up. To go with the S and Y he got. I mean, this is a recovering Terrorblade. This is not your. I mean, not that Blink's a bad item pick, but you just look at his items right now at 29 minutes in. It's definitely not what you'd want to see.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not exactly like the butterfly, BKB, Hurricane Pike kind of thing you would want. Well, having that 30 minutes would probably be a bit ambitious, but you'd still want it, right?
Well,
so just sieging.
Gonna do what he can to defend that 8-second BKB on Terrorblade. As you mentioned, though, No-Tail with the familiars. That they cannot kill those damn birds. As4 jumps in. He says, all right, now's the time to fight. Splits up. Terrorblade, he pops his BKB. He does have the Thunder still. Look at the turn. Epicenter coming out. In response, Matt is dying. He does have the Aegis, of course. The Eclipse was used as they kill Sanking. Did you wrong? He's going to Sunder, isn't he? He wants to at least, but he's going to be silenced out first, and now he's going to die as a result of that. He does have a buyback. Probably has to use it here to give themselves any bit of a chance. Excalibur does, but I was going to say, it looks like they're just going to concede. Understandably, GG's coming out in game 1 will indeed go to OG over Double Dimension.
Yeah, right from the outset, just complete dominance from OG. Well, not complete dominance, but just a kind of scaling, impending sense of doom coming from this decision doing a push. Insidious and creeping, as it might be.
All right, victory for OG. That was fun to watch, though, and you know it's. I definitely want to give credit to you, Rhyme. You know, the idea of the whole last pick Luna and going with the whole the item build in itself to match up against the Terrorblade. That's not something you usually see on Luna, of course, but to not only pick the hero and then go for that build. A bold decision, but it clearly worked out for them in the end. Not that it was old Luna by any means. I mean, frankly, the Eclipse Axe didn't necessarily like do the craziest things, damage that game. I mean, really, let's be honest. It was Tusk. Jerax was a playmaker.
It was Tusk and Disruptor just kind of being in the right place at the right time. S4 didn't really have any huge mishaps. I mean, there was that thing in mid lane, but that really wasn't consequential. and then they just had more stuff, really. Like, there's just this pipe AC Visage just hitting your buildings, and you feel like you have to kill the Luna, but it's really the Visage that's just killing all of your buildings. You can see he's got 9.6k building damage as well. Yeah, it's just this lineup from OG did what it set out to do.
And they're going to set out to win game number 2 as well, but Double Dimension sure has something to say about that. Obviously, this is a single elimination portion of the event. Our quarterfinal matchup, OG versus Double Dimension. The winner moves on to play Kingwin later on today. Right now, OG up 1-0. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. The MDL European coverage on BreakyCPK, joined by Rimedota. We'll be back game number 2 coming up shortly.